Okay, so the delivery man literally just pulled up and I was like, oh cool, we're getting another package for the gym. And then I saw my name on it, opened it up, and we ended up with this massive bag that is the agility kit. So let's take a quick look at what this thing looks like. So that's it, that's the bag. This thing is huge, look at this. It's just filled with stuff. So why do you say we just do a really quick unboxing and then we'll talk about everything in 3, 2, 1. Nice. What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're wondering why I have a different outfit on, it's because this is taking place 2 weeks after I opened up this agility kit. It's been a while of me using some of these tools and equipment with the athletes and the patients that I work with because I really wanted to get a good understanding of what this stuff was useful for before I created this little video for you guys. Today's video is sponsored by FitBeast. So if you guys enjoy what you see in today's video and you want to pick up this agility kit, the link is going to be down in the description below. It'll get you a nice discount off of the entire product altogether, and you can go and purchase that and use that for your training or for your rehab facility, gym, whatever you want to use that for. So let's get started by talking about the kit itself from first presentation. It comes in this gigantic black carrying bag, and it's got the FitBeast logo printed right on the front, which is kind of cool. But for all the stuff that you've got, being able to just fit it all inside of this to carry around to a park or a different gym facility or training ground, wherever you want to take it, that's pretty nice. I have taken all of this out and put it back in except for these agility cones. For me, I just didn't want to deal with taking the cones off and trying to shove them back inside the bag. They have a nice little stand like that, but altogether, I mean, very compact way to travel around with all of your agility stuff. When you open up the agility training set, you get this nice little booklet, which when you unfold it, gives you a list of all the pieces of equipment that are inside and what they're called and how many of the things you should have. And it also kind of gives you some information on, you know, what you can do with some of this. There's a product use information on the inside. If you're someone who needs to or feels like you need to read that kind of stuff, it's there, but you know. One of the first pieces of equipment that I want to cover really quickly are these resistance loop bands. I've got a couple of the sizes and colors that are still in the packaging right now because I work at a rehab facility. NRG Physio treats and trains athletes, and we already have a set of these. It's really nice that they include it in the agility set. So if you don't already have some loop resistance bands, these are going to be a great addition, and you can use them for a variety of things. One of my favorite uses for the loop bands is as a hip warm-up or for hip strengthening. They come in a bunch of different weights and sizes so that you can progress from there depending on what you're doing, but there's a ton of these in there, and it's a really good starting point for hip resistance training. Say goodbye to those. The next piece of equipment that's inside the bag is all of these agility cones. So this is a nice big stack of the agility cones, and they all come on top of this nice little stand so that you can carry them all, keep them all close together. But when you look at it individually, I mean, it's a really nice design for, you know, what it is. It's an agility cone set. Use case for these are placing them in a different array of designs to create, you know, agility setups. You want to run to a cone and then cut, turn left, and then backpedal to another cone. You really just, your imagination is what is your limiter here. But these are nice. They're lightweight, easy to travel with, and I got the blue color. There's also a yellow color, but it's pretty easy to see, it's reflective, and it works really well. I used these for one of my younger athletes to work on some of her speed and agility. She's a softball player who is growing up a little bit and needs to get a little bit more aware of her body. So a lot of the clips that you're going to be seeing throughout the rest of this video are of her using some of these things. There's a total of 20 cones on here. So if you want to set up a station in one area and a station in another area with different configurations for groups of athletes, if you're working in team sports, In the rehab space, these are nice stepping over objects for people who maybe are struggling with recovering from a stroke or something like that. It gives them a target to reach for, gives them an area or an obstacle for them to sort of navigate around. And I like that they're lightweight enough that if a tripping happens, it easily just kick the cone over and it's not something that's really gonna cause any harm. The next piece of equipment that I thought was a really cool addition is this jump rope. And as far as jump ropes go, this is a pretty good option for something that's lumped all together in with a kit of a bunch of other stuff. I'm a CrossFitter, so I'm really partial to the brand of jump ropes that I use for the speed purposes. They've got the nice ball bearings, the handle spins well, it goes nice and fast. Some of the more generic jump ropes that are out there just aren't built for that. They're very stationary, they're stiff, they're heavy, they're made with weird materials, and it's not super useful for performing speed work like that. But this rope has a lot of those nice features. The handles spin remarkably well for a rope that is at the price point that this is. I can't adjust this necessarily for specific heights like I could with my other ropes, but for the weight that it's at and how the handles feel, I can actually do double unders in these, and having that as an option for carrying around in this agility set for me wherever I want to go is really, really good. And especially if you're someone who's brand new to jump roping and you either want to learn how to do double unders or you just need a good starter rope, this thing is really nice, and you get a huge bang for your buck by picking this up with all the other things that come along with this pack. The next thing on the list is this long bungee resistance tube. This thing is pretty sweet if you're working on explosive power training, whether by yourself or if you have a partner. It's got these nice little carabiner hooks on the ends, and it came with a door handle, which you just kind of slide into the hinge side of a door, and this little buffer piece gets stuck on the other side, and then you just hook up the bungee cord to the one side and use that as your resistance point as you run out and away. It also came with a belt loop, which I have misplaced, but that's what attaches around your waist, and you hook onto this and you run. Since I misplaced the belt loop, we just use some of the chains that we have here at the gym, but this is really useful for working on explosive, driving out and just getting a little bit of resistance with stuff. I have noticed though that the initial resistance is pretty good, but once you gain enough power and enough speed, you blow through that resistance pretty quickly, and then you get to the end point, and that's really where, if you have a person that wants to move with you as you're running, you can get a lot of resistance out of that. But if you're gonna hook this up to the door, just understand that you may end up being a little bit more powerful than the resistance rope depending on your size, and you could benefit or you cannot benefit. It's really up to what your experience looks like. The training kit also comes with an agility ladder, and this is one of my favorite pieces of equipment to use from an agility set because you can do so much footwork with an agility ladder, and there's tons of different combinations of things that you can work through. I have some footage of our athlete at the gym working on some of this footwork stuff. Speed and placement and accuracy, super important when it comes to these things. You can do hopping drills, single leg stuff, double leg stuff. Really valuable piece of equipment. I love using the speed ladder because it takes me back to my roots as a soccer player. I used to use these all the time to work on my footwork and to get myself feeling a little bit more ready for all of the intense sport specific stuff that I was doing. Even when you're not being super fast, this is a great obstacle to use for elderly patients or elderly athletes who need help with some accuracy or paying attention to where their feet are going so that they have a little bit more balance in their everyday lives. I really like that they included this in the agility set, and it's something that I use pretty often. One small drawback to the agility ladder is that it's made for having a connecting hook that would go between the rungs to keep it all nice and tight. They have the loops that run all the way through. But the set that I got didn't have anything for me to use to keep it together. So for the time being, we just stuck a zip tie on the inside of this loop to try to keep it organized and not all over the place. This is not a quick release zip tie, so we're gonna have to cut this if we wanna undo it and use it in the future. But if you happen to receive one and you don't have the clip, just put an easy quick release zip tie through there, and then you can undo that and do that again. If FitBeast is watching this video, maybe that's something to ensure that is included inside the bag so that people can keep this organized and together and not get all lumped in a bunch of a crazy mess. One of the things they did include though is a couple of stakes, like metal stakes that you can put in the ground. So if you're gonna do this outside on a field or a turfy area, you can actually use the stakes to drill into the ends of the ladder so that it doesn't get kicked and moved around and messed up while you're trying to train. So that, at least that's a really nice addition that they added in there. I just wish they had something to help keep the ladder together. Last but not least, we have these agility hurdles, and these are something that I've been wishing that we had here at the clinic for a while, especially with our guy that we work with that has been recovering from a stroke. Being able to have higher objects to step over and obstacles to move around, super, super useful for his recovery and to help him get fitter. So having something like this, I love it. What's great about these are that they're really lightweight and they can change height depending on how you adjust the legs. So when you turn them this direction, you have sort of a mid-height sort of array. But then when you twist them around the opposite direction, you now have a much shorter hurdle. So one direction is nice and tall, and then the other direction is much shorter. So you can set up a bunch of short hurdles for some really quick speed work. You can put high hurdles all together, or you can do a mix of both. And I think having the variety in that is a really, really valuable piece for this piece of equipment. My only drawback to the hurdles is actually part of one of the things that I like about it. I like it because it's really lightweight and it's not super heavy and luggy to carry around, but because of it being so lightweight, it's also a little bit flimsy, and when someone is just not as accurate as you need them to be, it snaps off. Unfortunately, while I was working with the very guy that I've been talking to you about, he accidentally missed the hurdle and stepped on it. And it was nothing crazy, nothing super fast or violent. He just took a wrong step and stepped down on the hurdle and snapped the leg right off. I mean, it was pretty easy. If you guys can see right there, that's basically just the plastic of the handle completely ripped off itself, and there's really no way for me to reattach it. I'd have to super glue it, but even then you couldn't get the rotation or the adjustability back from it. So that's something to pay attention to. If you pick this up, be really careful with how much space you put between them, how accurate you are, because if you accidentally stomp on one of these, they're gonna fall apart. Now that's not to say that it's specifically the fault of the company that's releasing the product. It's just sometimes when you use something that is meant to be lightweight, accidents can happen, and we all understand that. And that's why we have more of the hurdles, not just one of them. So maybe that was an oversight on my part, but just be aware that if you pick this up, this may happen if you're not super careful. So guys, other than the hurdles falling apart and not having a pin to keep the ladder together, I'm pretty happy with everything that came in this kit. It's a lot of useful equipment, and if you know what you're doing and you know how to implement it in the right way, there's a ton of great tools that can improve your athletic performance, can improve your speed, improve your agility, and overall just help you, whether it's in a sport, whether it's getting better for CrossFit, or you just want to improve your overall athleticism to handle things like water sports and hiking and doing stuff on the weekends. For me, having access to all of these tools in the environment that we're in to help the people that we try to help is really, really useful, and I really appreciate FitBeast reaching out and giving me this kit to review and to use, and allowing me to give my honest opinions on what I think about it. As I mentioned before, if this is something that you are interested in and you want to pick it up and try it out for yourself, there's going to be a link in the description below. If you click on that, you'll get a discount on the agility kit, and you'll also be helping to support the channel and help me reach more people with videos just like these. If you at all enjoyed today's video, please consider hitting that like button. That helps the YouTube algorithm send this stuff out to more people like yourself so that they can learn and they can grow as well. If you enjoy watching videos on health education, movement tips, and fitness gear reviews just like this one, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so that when new videos get released, you'll get notified about them. I once again want to thank FitBeast for sponsoring today's video, and until next time, I'll catch you guys in next week's video.